Hi there, Bad Richard here. I thought I'd talk to you about, I'll be on here various times talking about whatever I'm upset about or I feel good about. That's wine up there. I always feel good about that. Uh, I want to talk a bit about the lawsuit or the Trump being convicted of that supposed crime in New York where he overvalued his property. What brought it up to me, even though it's been in the news quite a bit, is that Jon Stewart, a comedian who I most of the time like. I don't mind liberal comedians if they're funny. If they're not funny, then I don't like them. And I'm in the mode of not liking him right now because he took on this subject of the Trump guilty finding in this trial to say that when people are saying there's no victims, he's saying that's crazy. There are victims. So anyway, just to get the background, Trump was found guilty of overvaluing his properties by, I don't know, hundreds of millions of dollars. Who knows? I haven't heard what that number is, but it was supposedly way, way over what it was worth. So theoretically, he could get a better bank loan from the banks because of the value of these properties. Well, the fallacy of that is the bank, the one who actually was involved in this, is Deutsche Bank. And Deutsche Bank's one of the biggest and smartest banks in the world. They, like any other bank, never accept the values that the borrower puts on the property. They go in and do it themselves. And they went in and they did their valuation. They then gave him a loan at decent interest rates. Why? Because he's a big customer of theirs. Letitia James, the Attorney General, said those interest rates that he got were because of the increased value. Well, you can see what's wrong with this thinking. But we have a crazy Attorney General in New York who got elected saying she would go after Trump, even though at that point there was no crime that she could think of. She was just going to go after Trump. So then there was a $500 million approximately bond Trump would have to put up by a certain date, or he would lose his properties, which included Trump Tower and many other things, a golf course, a bunch of other properties in New York. And they would take over. Letitia James would walk in and take over these properties. Well, on the last day that he had to pay this $500 million, he got an appeal. They dropped it down to $175 million. And so he agreed to pay that. I guess he did. I haven't actually heard that, but he did say he would pay that or put that bond up because this is still going to be appealed. When it gets to the right level of appeal, they'll throw it all out because there's no crime. You can't find someone guilty if there's no crime. And she said it was fraud. He committed fraud against the bank. The bank said, no, we weren't hurt at all. You have to have a victim if there's fraud where they were financially hurt. The bank said they were not hurt. He paid the loans, paid them off, and we'd like to do more business with them. So it's just the whole thing is crazy. It drives me crazy. So anyway, he's putting up that bond. He'll get it appealed. And everybody's saying, especially in the conservative networks, that there's no victim, no victim. Enter Jon Stewart of The Daily Show. He said, this is crazy. Don't say there's no victims. The victims are the taxes he would have paid had he not overvalued it. And he goes on with some crazy thing. Taxes aren't involved in this at all. Then they came up with showing that the properties were appraised by the state at much lower amounts, way, $100 million less. And he brought that up to show how much overvalued it was. So Mr. Jon Stewart, if you say there are victims here, I'd like to just have you name them. Name one, just one victim. I'd like to find out who that was. Maybe he's running around, down in downtown New York or the financial district. Maybe he's trying to hide. I don't know where he is, but you say there's a victim somewhere. I'd like to find him. The other thing you did was sort of attack Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. Kevin O'Leary said there are uh, no victims here, and he talked about the valuations, and Jon Stewart said when you're on the when you're on the Shark Tank show, you're constantly criticizing people for overvaluing their businesses. You get in arguments with them, and so forth. And the answer to that is these are startup businesses for the most part. There is no value. The people who come in put some huge value. They'll say it's worth $20 million, and they may have sold $500,000 in business. So there's no way that's worth $20 million. In some cases, they haven't even started selling anything yet, and they're asking for $15 to $20 million valuation. So he's right to argue that. And all the other sharks, there's 5 of them altogether, usually agree with O'Leary when the value is way too high. And if, in fairness, O'Leary will take on investing in many opportunities that the other 4 have turned down. So he does, I think he does, at least offers more than any of the sharks there. So, you know, O'Leary's a good guy. He's not an asshole, whatever you called him. And that's my case for today. I'll be back with whatever's bothering me, and other things will bother me, I know. But I'm known as Bad Richard. So have a good day.